Hey guys, Hidden Truths here. Welcome to this new video with a bunch of new stories. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers and I think we can do it with your help. So please subscribe. It would honestly mean a lot to me. Now, let's get right into the stories.
Friday started like any other: cereal bowls, mismatched socks, Caleb refusing to wear shoes that feel like tight monsters. I got the kids out the door, swung by my first job to replace a breaker panel, and was halfway through rewiring a dimmer switch in a condo when my phone buzzed. A bank alert. New charge, SunSafe Storage, Unit 312. $48. 00. Storage. That was odd. We didn't have a storage unit. We barely had room in our own garage, sure, but Jenna hated clutter. She was the donate it or trash it type. I figured maybe it was an old charge, a fluke, something tied to her mom's estate or a work errand. But something about it sat weird. I didn't call her. I just sat there for a minute, knelt beside a half-disassembled wall plate, my knees starting to ache on the hardwood. I stared at the screen. SunSafe Storage, Unit 312. I googled the location. 20 minutes away, over near the business park on Elmwood. I stared at the map for longer than I needed to. Then I stood up, dusted off my jeans, and told the homeowner I needed a lunch break. I didn't call Jenna. I drove. The place was the usual setup: rows of orange roll-up doors, keypad gate, the hum of a vending machine near the office. I told the clerk I was looking to rent a unit and asked if I could see a medium-size one. "I've only got one that's open to show right now," he said, glancing at the screen. "But hey, if you're looking for ideas, 312 is one of our more popular sizes. Always gets snapped up fast." I nodded like that meant something. He handed me a temporary gate code. I walked back out under the hot sun, the smell of warm asphalt in the air, and made my way to Unit 312. It was locked, of course. But the padlock was one of those TSA combination types. Nothing heavy-duty. I'm not proud of how fast my brain started working out how to bypass it. I didn't break in. I didn't need to. As I stood there pretending to text, a man in a utility vest opened the unit right next to it, 311. He held the door up with one hand while stacking tubs inside. "Renting that one out?" he asked, pointing toward 312. "Nah, just checking something for my wife," I said. She asked me to grab something but didn't say which unit. He nodded, uninterested. "She got the lock code on her phone?" "Yeah." I pulled out mine, pretending to scroll. "Just waiting for it." He left after a minute, pulling down his door with a loud slam. When it was quiet again, I crouched beside the lock and looked closer. The dials had smudge wear. I tried a couple combinations Jenna might have used: birthdays, our anniversary. On the third try, it clicked. The door groaned as I lifted it halfway. Inside, the unit smelled faintly like dryer sheets and cardboard. Neatly packed. No mess. There was a navy weekend bag on a camp cot, half-zipped, with doubles of everyday stuff: shampoo, toothbrush, jeans, flats. A fresh pack of multivitamins. Hair ties. A file box labeled "Kitchen, Starter," sat on the floor. Another had the kids' names, Lily and Caleb, printed in block Sharpie. Inside, I saw a pair of size 2T sneakers, Caleb's size from last year, and a pink soccer jersey with Lily's league logo. A printed lease application rested on top of the box. I leaned down, careful not to move anything, and read the header. The address was an apartment complex across town, Maple Bend Residences. A one-bedroom. Application fee stapled to the top. Who's moving? I stepped back, let the door fall shut, and respun the combo lock. I hadn't touched a thing, but my hands were trembling as if I had. I walked back to the truck and sat with the AC blowing full blast, taking pictures of everything I'd seen. No calls. No texts. Just quiet. I went back to work. Finished the job. Said thanks, see you Monday. Drove home in time for pickup. Dinner was baked ziti. Jenna made it ahead in the morning. It was one of those, set it and forget it, meals she loved. The house smelled like basil and garlic. Caleb showed me a glittery drawing he did at preschool. Lily had a scraped knee from recess and milk in her hair. I kissed them both on the forehead, helped with bath time, read the Gruffalo for the 100th time. Jenna folded laundry in the living room, humming under her breath. The ordinariness of it all felt surreal. Like standing in a movie where you already know the ending but no one else has read the script yet. At 9:27 p.m., the lights were out, and I was loading the dishwasher when I heard my phone ding in the other room. I walked over, wiped my hands on a towel, and picked it up. One new email. Subject, ride receipt, today, 1:42 p.m. It had auto-archived into our shared Gmail folder, the one we use for receipts and school forms. I clicked. Pickup, Jenna's office. Drop off, 220, Elmwood Avenue, 2 blocks from Sunsafe Storage. I sat down. Not angry. Not broken. Just cold. And awake. The next morning, I was up before the kids. Jenna was in the shower, door fogged, and I was sitting at the kitchen table sipping cold coffee I didn't remember brewing. I'd slept, technically. The kind of sleep where your body shuts down but your brain just drifts, tangled in static. There was no confrontation. No slamming doors or midnight accusations. I packed Lily's lunch. I found Caleb's favorite socks, the ones with the sharks. Everything had to stay normal. For them. After drop-off, I went to work as usual. Ceiling fans in a fixer-upper, outlets in a converted garage. All easy stuff. I was grateful for it, hands moving, brain quiet. But every free second, every red light, my mind went back to that unit. That box labeled, kitchen, starter. I started keeping a list. Not a dramatic journal, just a notes app bullet list. Title, Quiet Facts. August 9th, storage unit build. August 20th, application to Maple Bend submitted. August 22nd, Jenna, worked late, came home at 9:15. August 28th, ride receipt, pickup at office, drop near unit. Just plain data. No opinions. No guesses. I didn't want to assume anything. I wanted truth. That night, after the kids were down, I opened our shared calendar on my laptop. Jenna and I both used it to block appointments, school events, dentist reminders. Looking through August, a few things caught my eye. Volunteer shift, food bank, twice. She doesn't volunteer there. I would know. Team dinner, marketing department, on a Saturday. I clicked into her rewards points for a credit card we mostly used for family expenses. One redemption, dated August 14th, $50 Amazon card, sent to a J. Barrett. Not a name I knew. Still. None of it was proof. I flipped through our cloud photo backup, just to check. Most of it was the kids. Parks, pancakes, Caleb's paint-stained fingers. A few shots Jenna had taken at work, beige offices, a happy hour menu, a glass of white wine. Nothing unusual. Then a small thing, a photo of a folding chair and lamp in a bare room, no caption, taken at 6:32 p.m. on the 21st. No kids, no faces. Just, a corner of a room. I zoomed in. Carpet matched the Maple Bend listing. That's when I stopped for the night. 2 days later, our neighbor Greg was out washing his car when I got home. He waved me over. "You still got that dolly I loaned Jenna?" he asked, shaking water off his hand. "She said she was clearing out some old boxes from the garage last month." "Last month?" I nodded. Yeah, I'll grab it for you tonight. He didn't notice anything strange in my face. I've always had a good poker face when I needed it. I walked back into the house and made tacos for dinner. Jenna and I talked about Lily's math quiz. Caleb spilled shredded cheese on the rug. The night went like any other. After bedtime, I sat on the couch while Jenna folded a pile of Caleb's laundry. That's when I noticed her keyring. She'd tossed it beside the remote, next to her water bottle. I'd seen it 100 times before: house key, car key, mailbox key. But tonight, there was a new one. Silver. Flat top. Etched with the Maple Bend logo. I stared at it while she adjusted a tiny sock into a roll. My stomach dropped, but not in a dramatic way. It was more like the slow awareness of something quietly permanent. Not just a fling. Not a mistake. She's building an exit. That night, I wrote out a rough plan on paper, pen, not digital. I didn't want to keep it in any shared folder. I labeled it, next good step. Kids first, safety, routine, stability. No midnight arguments. No yelling. Secure a counseling intake, maybe not to fix, but to speak clearly. Custody consult, just to be ready. One hard conversation. Not many. Be decent. Be calm. I wasn't pretending to be noble. I was scared. Angry. But those weren't the tools I needed. I didn't want revenge. I wanted clarity. I wanted to leave this thing without becoming someone I didn't recognize. So I went to the garage, found the dolly Jenna had borrowed, and wheeled it to Greg's driveway. He thanked me, still in flip-flops and covered in suds. I said, "No problem," and walked back toward my front door, toward the porch light glowing like nothing had changed. But I knew better. Everything had changed. She just didn't know I knew. Yet. The kids stayed with my sister that Saturday. We'd told them it was a special cousin sleepover, and they bought it, all giggles and stuffed animals in backpacks. I waved as they pulled out of the driveway, Caleb smushed against the window, Lily shouting something about waffles. Then it was just the house again. Quiet, except for the low whir of the dishwasher and the clock ticking like it had somewhere better to be. I sat at the dining table. Our table. Scratched in the corner from when Lily dropped a plate 2 years ago. Still had a faint glitter stain under the runner from a Christmas craft disaster. Familiar. Jenna came down the stairs in a soft hoodie and jeans. No makeup. She looked tired, but not like someone expecting an ambush. She sat across from me, a hand on her mug, like we were just going to talk about bills or the school fundraiser. I didn't say anything right away. I pulled a folder from the drawer behind me. Just paper. No drama. No speeches. I slid it across the table. Inside, the storage unit receipt, the lease application, a printed map with routes she'd taken. The rideshare log. A photo of the key. A screenshot of the photo she'd taken at Maple Bend. She looked at the top sheet, then flipped slowly through the rest. Her face didn't crack, not in the big, theatrical way. No gasps. No denials. Just stillness. "I know," I said, after a long pause. "You don't need to explain everything. But I need to know what's real now." She closed the folder. Sat back. Her voice was low. "It's been going on a few months. With someone from work. It started after that offsite. The one in April." I nodded once. I remembered that offsite. She'd come home late, smelling like new cologne and someone else's playlist. She went on. "It wasn't planned. I wasn't looking to blow up anything. But I started to feel like I wasn't in my own life anymore. Like everything was just schedules and carpools and casseroles and," she stopped herself. And I didn't know how to talk about it without making you feel like I was blaming you. I stayed quiet. She glanced at the window. The blinds were closed. The storage unit, that was my backup plan, she said. I didn't know what I was going to do. Just wanted a place that was mine. Just in case. I swallowed. It wasn't anger that hit me. Not even betrayal in the cliché sense. It was more like grief wearing plain clothes. I don't need to punish you, I said. I'm not here to make a scene. But things are going to change now. I need that. She nodded slowly. I'm going to stay in the den for a while, I said. We'll set up a temporary parenting plan, figure out drop-offs, pickups, schedules. The kids don't know anything, and I want to keep it that way until we can explain it right. Together. Okay, she said. Her voice cracked for the first time. Yeah. I also think you should disclose this to HR, if it hasn't already happened. Especially if he's in your department. She hesitated, then nodded again. He's not above me, but yeah. I will. Monday. Counseling, I added. Even if it's just to end things right. We can't be messy in front of them. I know, she whispered. We sat there for another few minutes. I heard the ice maker drop a few cubes. Somewhere down the block, someone was mowing the lawn. She tried to say something then, maybe an apology, maybe something else. I raised a hand, gently. Not now. I stood. Took the folder, set it back in the drawer. That night, I moved into the den. Pulled the futon out, stacked a few extra pillows. The sheets smelled like a guest room that hadn't had guests in years. I stared at the ceiling for a long time. The bedroom upstairs, the one we used to share, felt like it was glowing behind the drywall. Like a space I didn't belong in anymore. Not because she kicked me out. But because staying would have felt like theft. Like sleeping in someone else's life. So I stayed in the den. With the couch. And the quiet. And the first small inch of dignity I'd claimed in weeks. The next morning, the kids came home. Jenna picked them up while I folded sheets. Caleb ran to me with a rock he'd found. Look, Daddy. It's shaped like a shoe. Lily wanted pancakes, and Jenna and I locked eyes for a second across the kitchen. I nodded. She nodded back. The rock went on the counter. The pan went on the stove. And Sunday began. We never sat down with a judge. Mediation worked. It was clean, businesslike, almost dull in its efficiency. 60-40 split. The kids would be with me most school nights, Jenna on alternating weekends. Holidays split by odd and even years. I took Thanksgiving, she got Christmas morning. We agreed on one shared week each summer, camp grandparents. Passwords divided. She kept the Hulu login. I kept Spotify. We both wanted the espresso machine. I gave it to her. I hated cleaning it anyway. The affair partner? Still around, as far as I know. Doesn't come near my house. That was non-negotiable. No pickups, no drop-offs, no waving through the windshield. I didn't want my kids growing up watching me pretend to be okay with that. We wrote out the rules. Not legal ones, life ones. Keep birthdays neutral. No surprise schedule swaps without notice. Never argue in front of the kids. We actually stuck to them. And I'll give Jenna this, she didn't try to rewrite the story. She didn't spin it to friends, didn't make me out to be cold or distant or impossible. She owned it. Quietly. Which probably made it harder for people to know what to say. The first few weeks, friends and family kept orbiting. Checking in. Taking sides. You're handling this way too calmly. She gave up a great guy, man. Why don't you just try to forgive her? I didn't perform anger. I didn't audition for sympathy. Eventually, the noise faded. What replaced it was structure. Every Tuesday, pancakes. Caleb helps me stir, gets flour on the floor. Every Saturday, we hit the library. Lily goes straight for the chapter books, stacks 10 of them even though she only ever finishes 2. On nights they're with their mom, I leave voice memos. Nothing long. Just, "Hey bud, hope you remembered your lunchbox. Love you, Bean. Don't forget your math homework." I keep the fridge organized, not out of obsession, but because it's the one place that doesn't surprise me anymore. I learned how to braid Lily's hair, sort of. She tells me I'm okay at it, but it's always crooked. Sometimes, Jenna texts me pictures, Caleb losing his first tooth. Lily in a Halloween costume I didn't help pick. Those moments sting. Then pass. The hurt doesn't vanish. It just gets filed. Lately, I've started dating again. Nothing serious. A few coffees. One woman, Claire, told me I seem like someone who knows what he wants. I laughed. Not because it was wrong, but because it had taken me 37 years and a wrecked marriage to finally become that guy. What I want now is simple. Show up. Tell the truth. Keep the schedule. That's it. I don't need Jenna to be the villain. I don't need to win the divorce. I just want my kids to grow up steady. I want to make them dinner. Pick them up on time. Let them laugh and spill juice and feel safe. And if one day they ask me what happened, really happened, I'll tell them the truth in a way their hearts can hold. I won't sugarcoat. But I won't poison them either. Because betrayal can't be undone. And regret isn't a performance. It's repetition. The work of healing is boring. Unsexy. Honest. You build something out of scraps. You keep your word. You learn how to braid. Some homes don't explode, they settle into a shape that finally holds.